Okay, we're going to talk about covering practices that are out there. Now that you have some exposed soil, how do we make sure that we get that exposed soil covered from the impact of the raindrop that can occur on the piece of property? And there are really three methodologies that covering BMPs take. There are hand dispersed or blown BMPs. There are hydraulically applied BMPs. Oftentimes we refer to these as hydroseed. And then there are rolled products that are out there that we often refer to these as RECPs or rolled erosion control products. So let's talk about the different types of covering BMPs in those categories. All covering BMPs require good surface contact to be effective. Oftentimes that means soil prep work. We need to be able to minimize the amount of undulations or obstructions that have to be covered. If we create a gap between the BMP and the soil, or we simply don't get the coverage of the soil, water can basically concentrate or migrate under the BMP, and then you can have runoff or rilling underneath because there's concentrated flow occurring. For covering BMPs to be effective, they need to have at least 95% coverage of the exposed soil so that you're minimizing the impact of the raindrop. When we take vegetation away, these covering BMPs are a temporary replacement for that vegetation. A lot of the hand dispersed material that we use out there is straw. We've all used straw before, and you know that spreading it around in the wind can often drift it or move it around your project. And when you put it down on the ground, you may also need to use a tackifier, or you may need to crimp it in, which means you're going to run over it with a piece of equipment or stab it in with a shovel to incorporate it into the top layer of soil. Another blown in material could be a mulch or a compost blanket that can be used as a covering BMP, which can also serve as growable substrate for the project. Some folks are using hog fuel, which is taking branches or debris that's being grubbed off the project, putting it into a chipper, and then reusing that hog fuel out on the site as well. Very similar to straw, that material can float, so you got to make sure that you're incorporating it into the top layer of soil as well. Hydraulically applied products are using water to mix into a mulch that gets sprayed out of a truck. We typically call this hydroseed. Now, hydroseed means a lot of things, and there's a whole other set of acronyms that are out there, but the hydroseed that you're going to use in your backyard to get grass to grow is very different than doing erosion control blanket on a 300-foot long 3-to-1 slope. So you need a hydromulch that's going to protect against erosion and create an erosion control blanket while it's protecting the seed on the ground. So there are several factors to determine the type of hydromulch that will meet the desired outcomes for your project. It's necessary for you to understand if you're going to put seed in it, how long does it take for that seed to germinate? Does that mulch need to have moisture control element so it can help the seed grow because you're putting it down in the summer? Does the mulch need to have thermal protection so that it'll help the seed grow if it freezes overnight? That seed is your investment in your long-term erosion control success for the site, and you need to determine which hydromulch will protect it. You're putting on a mulch that's going to protect that investment and get the establishment that's necessary for stabilization moving forward and completion of the project. And if you're going to use a backyard mulch to spray on a slope, rain's going to hit it and it's essentially going to wash it away. So not all things are created equal when it comes to spray applied products, and you're going to have to do a bit of research as to what is necessary to get establishment for your project, which has a lot to do with the species of seed that you're going to be applying on the site. How long it takes for a seed to germinate and grow, and how long you need to protect that vegetation until it establishes to be your long-term success for your project should be the rationale for your decision making. Another spray applied product that's out there that's utilized for is utilized for dust suppression. We put what are called tackifiers or soil glue into a water truck and spray that around to help hold dust down. It gives better longevity to the water truck utilization and creates a crust like a glaze on a donut over the top of the soil, so wind can't pick up the material and create dust off your piece of property. What's really important is you're getting the functional longevity out of the product that you're purchasing for a spray applied product. Don't just let a hydroseeder or water truck say use whatever. You need to meet your project outcomes, and you need to do a little research before you're doing it so that you're not just purchasing something called hydroseed, expecting that you're going to get this great production result on your site when they're coming out and they come out and say, oh, this stuff works just as good. Make sure that you get what you pay for when it comes to hydraulically applied products. In some areas, a good soil substrate is difficult to find. In those areas, we oftentimes really need to get a soil test done, and they're inexpensive to do. Some places even do it for free for you. A soil test will tell you what needs to go into the hydraulically applied product to get the success of germination, and there are now some spray applied amendments that are out there as well to help. So instead of you looking at how do I get this 4 to 6 inches of topsoil put on this 3-to-1 slope, you can actually get a spray applied alternative product put up there with less weight, and you're not going to have the potential of catastrophic mass wasting coming off the slope face because there's less waste sitting on the face, and it will give you a greater chance of success of germination. And because it has things like biochar or micronutrients or mycorrhizae being sprayed out onto the slope, you'll get a better success of germination moving forward, and it allows you to have fewer truck trips. You're getting things done faster than you would have previously, so some of these spray applied soil amendments are also something you might look into.